Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. For today I'm going to be ranking all the eyeshadow palettes that I have been testing all of July. So if you're watching this, happy August. So if you want to see a whole bunch of eyeshadow palette swatches, all the things, then please stick around for today's video and make sure you are subscribed before leaving today. And let's go ahead and get into it. I have 9 palettes to talk about and all 9 are really good. I just wanted to disclaim that I have not, like, out of this bunch, none of them are bad. It honestly just comes down to like personal preference, color story, how often I reached for it, things like that. So let's get into number 9, which, like, this palette does not deserve last place and none of them do, but someone had to fall in last place, and it's simply because it comes down to the fact that I didn't reach for it all that often. This is the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Longing palette. I feel like it's just not the right season for me. I'm going to reach for this so much during like late fall, winter. It's such a moody, gorgeous color story. I absolutely love every look that I create with this palette. I feel like the formulation is 10 out of 10. I love the shimmers. I love the layout. I like that it's like purples and grays and just like greeny browns. Like, this color story is honestly so beautiful. And I know it's going to be perfect for winter. And I did reach for this a lot for like the neutrals in here, especially for liner, mixing them with other palettes. But honestly, this palette does no wrong, and I think I'm going to love it during the winter months. So number 8 goes to the Nomad. This is like the Key West palette. Honestly, this color story is very colorful, out of my comfort zone. I think it was June I skipped my monthly rankings because I only had 2 palettes, and because I tested mainly like single shadows, I used this all month long. I used it on 4th of July because, like, I feel like this is such a summer vibes palette. The quality is really nice. It just comes down to the color story. It's not like I'm going to use this palette all the time, but I did enjoy having so much fun with it. I think it's just so cute, and I love the pastels in here so much. So coming in at number 7, y'all are going to be, I feel like, very shocked. Like I said, these palettes are all so good, but like, it just comes down to color story for this. This is the Legends of Ardra palette, and I feel like this formulation, it's beautiful. It's just more of like an emollient shimmer formulation, but it comes down to the mattes. I didn't reach for this palette a lot because I would like to pair this palette with other palettes, so that's why I'm taking that into consideration during this ranking, because the mattes are just not it for me. Like, especially like these colorful ones, just not my favorite colors, but the shimmers are delicious, gorgeous. If you think of Adept, you know, the shiftiness, the sparkly, just, it is stunning, and the way it twinkles on your lids. I love the formulation and the shimmers, but the mattes are just, they're not my personal favorite. But keep in mind, their palettes are magnetic, so if you just want to like mix and match, now that I'm done testing this palette, I'm probably going to take these mattes out and put some like more mattes that I would like in this palette and enjoy. But I think it's beautiful. I love the packaging, and the shimmers, just, they have my heart. Okay, so now we're at number 6. Which, this goes to the Neutrals palette from Cosmic Brushes. I feel like many of you thought this would be in first place. I use this palette so much. It's beautiful. It's neutrals, but I have a neutral palette that I love even more than this, so you'll have to see. It's going to be very high up there in this video. I have nothing bad to say about this palette. It's beautiful. I use it constantly. I just have some that excite me more, but this is going to be a tried and true that I reach for constantly, not just like, I'm not someone who only uses new palettes, and this one's going to definitely get used, and I know I'm going to hit pan in these. It's a beautiful formula. I feel like Cosmic Brushes, they don't have my favorite formula, but it's nice. Coming in at number 5, this is Gourmand Girls. This is the Peach Perfect palette. I love peachy shades. It's pretty much one of my favorite shades to reach for in my collection, so give me a palette with fun peaches and greens like you have my heart, and we have a brown. Beautiful formulation, gorgeous color story, and I had so much fun mixing this with some of these other palettes and also using some of these shades as blush. I used peaches and cream to like set my face and clean up some areas. So I love this palette. They did a phenomenal job with the color story and formula. This one I used so much. Honestly, like, it was so hard to rank these. That's another reason why I kind of delayed doing this video, because I just would look at these palettes and I was like, I want all y'all to be number 1. Okay, so number 4, this goes to the Natasha Denona Golden palette, but hear me out. I actually customized my palette, so this is not the original Natasha Denona shades in here. A lot of the mattes are, But actually all the mattes are Natasha's mattes, but the shimmers, I included a lot of my indie singles in here. So honestly, I customized this palette to my liking, and I took this on vacation with me. This palette has my heart. I didn't put it at number 1 because I didn't think it was fair, because the fact that it was a different palette and I customized it. But just know, out of all the palettes in today's ranking, I use this one the most, and I also took it on vacation with me. It has my heart, and now I'm just so happy that I kind of customized it. It fell. Okay, none of the shades broke, just a little dirty, but it just makes me so happy reaching for it now because it's to like my liking and not just very monochromatic. Okay, so the top 3 is what delayed this video because I love them all so much. Especially number 2 and number 3, like I didn't know where to put them because I would use them together almost every single time I would reach for them. But this is a ranking, so let me just zip it and get on with it. Number 3 goes to the Ensley Rain Flourish palette. This, I'm telling you guys, I'm so excited that Ensley Rain came out with mini palettes. It is so beautiful. The mattes, for the most part, they are a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I created so many pretty looks that I love. So honestly, the mattes are fun. They get me inspired, which honestly surprised me so much. And the shimmers have my heart. They are that beautiful, fiery, shifty, sparkly goodness. I absolutely love mixing this palette with number 2, and number 2 came in a Flourish. So I guess if I had to pick one, it would be a Flutter, excuse me, because Flutter came in number 2. I absolutely love this color story. I love how grungy and moody but still wearable. I love the matte shades. The shimmers are perfection, but I'm telling you, for the most part, I would just mix these two together and almost combine them as a one. I love these. Like this color story, both of them are perfection, but Flutter, I'm a neutral girly, and this one, I reached for a little bit more on its own, so that's why a Flutter came a little bit ahead of a Flourish, but both of them are stunning together. So that leaves us with number 1, and that goes to the Barely Basic palette from Glaminatrix. When I tell you, I have not reached for another palette since receiving this one. I take that back. I had to review a few like individual palettes, but I'm going to give those to a friend. But since I have this palette, I have almost used this every single day. I'm wearing it today. I cannot stop wearing it. It's just my go-to. I keep it in my makeup bag because it's like a necessity for me. I feel like when you think of Glaminatrix in the future, like going forward, this is going to be the palette people think of. This is going to be the palette that people recommend. The color story is perfect. I love that we get some mauves, we get some browns. I don't know why I thought these were orange shades, but honestly on me they pull pretty neutral and brown, a little bit warm tone, and then we get greens and beautiful more like cool tone browns, grays. This palette is my perfect palette. I love that we get this light shade because I also use it to like clean up. I use it to highlight my brow bone, blend other shades out. The shimmers, stop. Like, are you kidding me? We have a row of like beautiful multi-chromes that are iridescent. Like, iridescents have my heart. I live for some iridescent shades. I wear iridescent almost every single day on top of whatever I have going on. And then these are some beautiful liquid metallic, just gorgeous shades. So, and some are beautiful multi-chromes. This palette is 10 out of 10. I cannot stop reaching for it, and like the looks are endless. If you're a neutral lover, out of all my neutral palettes, I feel like this one is just like the most exciting, and that's why neutrals, I thought this one would have been number 1, but whenever I got this one, like I cannot. These iridescent shades in here just took it to the next level for me. And I have not reached for neutrals since from Cosmic Brushes, so that's why this one fell a little bit lower, but I wanted to hold them up because if you have this one, then maybe you can skip on the Glaminatrix. I just prefer Glaminatrix formula, so I wanted to kind of hold them up because I feel like they're both on the same realm as far as like color story. I just prefer the Glaminatrix formulation, but you do get one iridescent in here. I prefer this one all day, every day, but they're both beautiful. So number 1, I had to give it to Barely Basic because I have not stopped reaching for it constantly. There are some other palettes that I have been using, testing out, but I'm not going to rank them because I've already decluttered them and I'm going to give them to friends. So that's it for this month's ranking. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're doing well. I hope that you are healthy, happy, and safe. Stay beautiful. Bye, guys.